I am the most odd out Black woman ever. Okay. I am a Black woman. I am an atheist. I am child free. I am anti-marriage. Okay. That's unheard of in the Black community. Every Black woman falls into any of those categories on the opposite spectrum, right? So I know I only represent a small section of Black women. Hello, hello, hello. I am the Sovereign Woman. Welcome back to my channel if you're new here. If you have been a longtime subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Now, this topic is probably going to cause you to roll your eyes as a Black woman. This may cause eye roll, eye roll syndrome. It may be triggering to some of you. But these conversations have to be had. And I want you guys to know that as I'm still working on my Patreon, these type of topics are going to be like a certain percentage of the central focus over there. I will deep dive into these topics a lot more. And I will say the things that I really want to say over there that I can't say here. Okay. I want you guys to watch this one clip and we're going to come back and we're going to discuss it. I got this from a woman on TikTok. And it is titled, Black Women Must Change Their Image. Now, before you get all defensive and get all mad and roll your eyes, which I already know is coming, because yes, we roll our eyes at shit like, not this shit again. Before you do that, this is a 3-minute video and I want you guys to watch it in its entirety. And then we're going to come back and we're going to discuss it.
It's a simple fact that the better you look, the better treatment you receive, the better your image is, the greater your social standing. This is the next part of my series, Things I'm Not Allowed to Say, where I say all the truths that hurt but will set you free. Black women would be treated better if their image was better. Now stop right there. Let me make a huge disclaimer. No, it is not all on you. The terrible treatment that Black women receive is because people want to remind you of your perceived place in a hierarchy. People are harder on you than literally everyone else. I'm never saying that's not the case. But I'm also saying something different here. I'm empowering you to portray yourself as an identity outside of the roles forced on you. Black women, you have to change your image because your image is currently associated with negative things like poverty, struggle, obesity, aggression, servitude. This really upsets me as a Black woman, and I know that it's not going to help us to continue to ignore the ways Black women contribute to this themselves while also crying about these harmful, nasty stereotypes that we all dislike. So Black women always talk about how people perceive and portray them, but you can't wait for other people to not have negative ideas about you. You also can't expect them to have other ideas when sometimes you play into your own negative stereotypes, okay? You have to force your new image out into the world. Your new image now is not to please others, but it's to benefit you. Our entire group will have more power if we collectively and intentionally redesign our image. And you know, we got to start right here with our personal avatars. You got to start with getting fit and wearing your natural hair. Please don't shy away from fitness. No amount of discussions on fat phobia on the internet is going to make people suddenly see fat as better than fit. We got to ditch these hair pieces that say, you know, today we chose to hide a fundamental part of ourselves as Black women. Your hair is fundamental to you. I hated that statue too, y'all, but I also know that thing wouldn't have had any weight, no pun intended, if a lot of you didn't walk around looking like that. These stereotypes hurt because they're true, and those of us who aren't those stereotypes are hurt the most because we don't want to be represented that way. This is not a shout at you session. This is a take you by the hand and say, I want you to be better session.
Now, I agree with every word in that video. If you are a Black woman who's being honest with herself, you agree as well. Okay, this is not a let's bash Black women as Black women thing. We have enough of that in a society. And I know a lot of you guys are going to think that you're sitting there thinking it right now. We already deal with this enough. This is too much. I am so tired. If you really think about it, though, no progression can possibly ever be made if we don't start with having these conversations. Every new invention in life came from a thought first. Somebody thought of it first. And then things moved. The universe orchestrated itself in some way. Moves were made to bring that thought into fruition. It is the exact same concept when, as Black women, we are always talking about how we need to be perceived better in society. Same thing. These conversations have to be had. Like I said in the very beginning, we're going to deep dive into stuff like this over on Patreon, because not everybody needs to be able to, for free, access the conversations that we have behind closed doors. It just is what it is. If you want to pay to do that, that's fine. If you want to just come there and criticize and whatever your reason is, I don't care. But it's going to be behind a paywall for a reason. But these are the types of topics that we're going to have, okay? In much deeper detail. I understand, as a Black woman, we are tired of being policed by everybody. We definitely don't want to be policed by each other to some degree, because it's like everybody else is policing how we wear our hair and how we dress and the way we act. And if we are a threat at work in corporate America because we don't speak to everybody and we're not all friendly and whatever else. And everybody outside of the Black community is always critiquing us. Black men critique us, not Black women too. But in my opinion, the only people on the entire planet who should be critiquing other Black women are Black women. That's just my own personal thought. I don't want to hear critiques coming from Black men. They don't know what it's like to be a Black woman. They don't know what it's like to be a woman in general. I don't want to hear critiques from white women. A certain percentage of them are flat out jealous of Black women. Let's be real. Then you got the ones that are just racist and they just don't like Black women because they don't like anybody that's not themselves. I don't want to hear from them either. I don't want to hear from white men. I don't want to hear from Asian women. Nobody outside of the Black woman experience should be critiquing Black women. But who? Other Black women. The ones who are well-rounded and a little bit more diverse and who have foresight and who's able to see what certain behaviors are doing and bring it to you in a positive way. Those Black women. Okay? That is my own personal thought. And I want you guys to think about that. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. I don't want anybody telling Black women shit except another Black woman who's already been or who's headed towards a place that you're trying to go as a Black woman. Okay. I remember some years back, there was a talk about the bonnets. That comes up a lot in society. It comes up a lot in our spaces too, right? But when you wear a bonnet in public as a Black woman, you feed into the stereotype that you are ratchet or that you look like you didn't wash your ass this morning. And whether you like it or not, that's good. That's the stereotype. That is the way that they've used ratchetness to describe Black women. So you have certain categories of Black women, which we know that we're all different and we're not a monolith, but the rest of society believes that we are all the same, like ratchet, ghetto, uneducated. There's another video I found about the different types of Black women. I am going to share that very soon. It's a very interesting video, and for the most part, I wholeheartedly agree with the entire video. As a Black woman, you fall into one or more of those categories. If you watch that video, it's so good. Okay. It should be viral in my opinion, but society puts us all in the same category. As a Black woman, I know that, and I'm just being honest here, the way that I look, I know that I only represent a certain percentage of all Black women. Okay. I know that there is there's an aesthetic privilege. I understand that there are not a lot of Black women who wear their natural hair 12 months out the year, or you know what I'm saying? I know that there are not that many Black women who don't have children, who have chosen not to have children, who are not putting marriage on a pedestal. I am a very odd out Black woman. And thanks to social media and, particularly TikTok and YouTube, I am so grateful to know that there are other Black women around the world that are like me in many ways, right? I am the most odd out Black woman ever. Okay. I am a Black woman. I am an atheist. I am child free. I am anti-marriage. Okay. That's unheard of in the Black community. Every Black woman falls into any of those categories on the opposite spectrum, right? So I know I only represent a small section of Black women. However, I accept all the different types of Black women. Like, there are so many different types. Like I said, I'm going to share that video very soon. It might be today or it might be tomorrow. I'm going to share that video because it's very interesting. But I'm saying that because I know that I have had certain privileges in my life. And I don't want to sound like I'm tone deaf to the racism, to the colorism, the featureism, and all this other crap that's been going on in the world, as well as the Black community, probably even worse in the Black community. We dog ourselves out as a community more than anybody with the colorism and the featureism and the texturism and all that stuff. So I know I fall on one category, but I don't want you to think because I'm over here in this category that I don't see the problems throughout the Black community, because I do. However, I can say confidently that in my journey throughout life, my negative experiences are super low when it comes to colorism, when it comes to featureism, when it comes to texturism, when it comes to racism. I can confidently tell you that if the white people, for an example, or the Asian people or the Korean people that I come into contact with on a regular basis, if they are racist towards Black people, they don't show me. They kiss my ass in my face. And I'm not saying that to sound arrogant. I'm just telling you what it is. Okay. And I know that it has every fucking thing to do with the way that I carry myself. I know that that's what it is. I'm from the hood, like everybody else. Any city that you live in, and there is a Martin Luther King Avenue, and I'm not saying that to degrade his name or anything. I'm just saying this is just facts. If you go to the Martin Luther King Street, Boulevard, or Avenue in any city, I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, that's the hood. Okay? That's where I'm from. Grew up in borderline poverty. We didn't have much. We had just enough, but not enough. Inner city, poor educational system. Even though we did have a lot of stuff in my time, I grew up at the tail end of still having music classes, and that was in school. Other languages, wood shop, the band, all the things that a lot of kids don't have now. I grew up in the tail end of having those things. But it was all like city shit. We got food stamps when my mom, when it was a book of food stamps and it wasn't a EBT card, right? I grew up in all of that. But I carry myself the way I carry myself. A lot of people in my family wondered how I turned out this way. I don't know, right? Because, unfortunately, a lot of people, when they meet me and then they meet people in my family, they don't believe I belong to my family, which is very insulting. But at the same time, I know why they think that, because I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum. But I have my ratchet, ghetto moments. I'm from that. That's ingrained in me. But I also learned along the way that the reason why so far in my life at the age of 41, why I've had mostly a smooth ride is because of the way I carry myself as a Black woman. If I'm around racist white people or racist Chinese people or racist, when I tell you they kiss my ass in my face, I'm telling you that's what they do. I don't give a damn what they say about me behind my back. What I care about is my customer service on point? Am I being treated fairly? They go out of their way to help me. They go out of their way to give me shit for free. They're always complimenting me. And my personality helps. I'm a naturally friendly, outgoing person. I've been that way my whole life. My mother and my grandmother and my aunties all told me how much of a friendly baby I was. Like I smiled at everything that walked by. That's just who I am. But I also learn how to play the game. Okay, I don't go outside in public in bonnets. I just don't. I'm not knocking you if you do. I'm just telling you that as a Black woman, and me being a Black woman and you being a Black woman, our experiences are going to be different in life every day because of how we carry ourselves. Play the game. This is not about kissing ass. It's not about, trying to, give in to the white aesthetic and, integrate yourself into white America and try to be more like white people. No. Because I've gotten accused of that too. Black people in particular. As a matter of fact, only Black people have been the ones telling me I sound like a white girl, or I talk like I'm white, or I'm trying to be white. When I'm like, no, when we were in class in English, learning how to spell and learning how to pronounce words, I learned the proper way to speak proper English. Why are you mad at me? Because I got straight A's in those classes. I'm learning to play the game. They're like, well, English is not even your ancestors, real primary language. You're whitewashed. I grew up in America. I was born here. What the do you want from me? How are you blaming me for the language that I had, that I was forced to learn because of where the F I grew up. Are you kidding me? I don't care about that. I don't care what the original language was. I don't live in Africa or Ghana or wherever, right? Wherever my ancestors are allegedly from. I don't live there. I was born and raised in America. I had to acquiesce to to my surroundings, just like every other human being on the planet has to. But you're blaming me because I talk proper and I learn how to speak English in the appropriate way. Seriously? But this is what we do to each other. When I'm critiquing you, it's to help you. When other Black people critique us, it's to be critiquing. And I know y'all know the particular types of Black people that I'm talking about. Okay? Certain types of Black women and certain types of Black men have something to say about the way I dress, the way I carry myself, the way I talk. You know, I get all the time from people that they're shocked because they don't ever see too many Black women in the hood wearing their natural hair, which I know that to be true. I know that for a fact. They don't. They don't. Generally speaking, the largest amount of Black women are dressed up in wigs and braids and whatever else, which is fine. That's your business. But I'm just telling you, me wearing my hair in a high puff instead of some, crazy hairstyle or a wig or whatever gets me more respect when I go out. Don't get me wrong. Do I give a damn about getting people's respect? I don't. I don't care about people in that way. I really don't. My goal in life is to buy me a house somewhere away from everybody. So I really don't care about that. But I notice it. And I'm here to tell you, when you play the game, you will most likely win against all odds as Black women. Because the beautiful thing about being Black is that, yes, people hate us. People hate on us. We're the blueprint at the end of the day. And it just is what it is. The hatred comes from pure envy and jealousy. That's where it comes from. Whether it's coming from other certain types of Black men, whether it's coming from white women, which they get on social media and admit this out of their own mouths all the time, every day. Whether it's from white men who, I'm not trying to be funny, the vast majority, a big chunk of them have always liked Black women. Let's keep it real, okay? They just had to, some of them were too cowardly to come out and express how much they are into Black women. A lot more of them are coming out and pandering to Black women, of course. And then you got a lot more of them who are just more comfortable in their own skin. They're like, look, I like Black women. I don't care what my mom got to say. I don't care what my dad got to say. Fuck them. I like Black women. I'm marrying me a Black woman, right? They've always liked us. Then you got other races of people, the Asians or listen, at the end of the day, we're the blueprint. So a lot of the things that people do to Black women don't really hurt me or affect me because I know where it's coming from. All I care about is that as Black women, we rise above and that we're 10 steps ahead. That's it. And one of the ways to be 10 steps ahead is your image has to be on point. It doesn't mean you have to get up and put on a face full of makeup and dress up all the time. No, okay? But you do have to play the game and put in effort when you're going for a job interview, for an example. You got to code switch. A lot of us know this, but there's a lot of us that don't. I'll give you guys an example. The place where I work, my boyfriend we work for the same company. I'm a truck driver. I'm on the trucking side. He's on the warehouse side. He runs the entire warehouse on his shift. That's his job. He does well for himself financially, all of that. He's in charge. He does a lot of the hiring, most of the hiring. And there are people from all races that come in there and they look fine. They come in there and they look presentable. There's a lot of them from each race who come in there looking like absolute boo-boo, okay? And I'm sorry to say that. And amongst those group of people are Black women. And a lot of them he doesn't hire. Now, keep in mind, my boyfriend is white, for those of you who don't know this. He don't hire them. And the reason why is because of how they present themselves. They come in there in bonnets. That's a no-no. Off the bail. If I were hiring you, I wouldn't hire you with a bonnet on either. Because to me, you're showing you don't even care about how you look to come get a job. I'm just saying. So before y'all get mad, I don't care that he don't hire people. I'm not even always in the office when he's hiring people. 99% of the time, I'm not in there. But one day, this woman came in. She had on a bonnet. She had on these really thick eyelashes. You couldn't even see her eyes. Her eyes didn't even look like they were open. That's how heavy they were, which I hate those, by the way. I wish y'all would stop wearing those real thick ones and just wear the natural looking ones, but that's just my own personal opinion. She had on some leggings that were like super tight. She had on tennis shoes with those leggings. And then she had nothing but cleavage, just cleavage. She had really, she had to be like a double F because her boobs were huge. And you could see like 3/4 of her boobs. Of course, he didn't hire her. When I saw her come in, me and this other black girl who was sitting at the desk was like, what in the world is wrong with people, right? So she asked me, she was like, does your boyfriend, she said his name, does he ever say anything? Does he care about like the way people come in to work? And I had never asked him that question before. So I didn't know. I told her, you know what? I don't know. If he's anything like me, I'm sure he's going to be like, no, absolutely not. Right. But I wasn't sure because I had never asked him. So after he was done with that round of interviews, I pulled him to the side. And I was like, do you really care about like what people wear and how they present themselves when they come in to get an interview? He looked at me, and without being unprofessional, and he looked around and made sure nobody heard what he said. He said, you only get one time to make a first impression. And he walked off. That was his answer. And in that moment, I was like, yep, he and I are on the same page. I agree with that. I understand that it's not good to judge a book by its cover. I understand that there are people who are on hard times and that's all they had to wear to that interview and they need that job really badly. I understand all of that. But when you're up against a bunch of other people who took the time to care about how they look to get that interview, I mean, it's a very easy, simple answer to the question. And as a Black woman, I understand the discrimination. But I also understand, no, I wouldn't hire this person who came in here looking like she did not give a damn this morning or like she's going to the club versus these other two Black women who came in here with a suit, a dressy suit on or a very appropriate interview type dress or whatever, and came in here speaking like she knew what she was talking about, had confidence. I'm not choosing cleavage Keisha, and I'm sorry to say that, but y'all get my point. Big titty Keisha over, I don't know, the other Keisha that looked like she came in and looked like she wanted to be there. I'm sorry. So if I think that as a Black person, what do you think other races of people think? And that's just one of like 1,000 examples that I can give you on you need to play the game. You want this job. You coming into these white folks' business, asking these white folks for their white job. You better look presentable. And it's playing the game. You don't have to kiss their ass. I don't kiss nobody's ass. People kiss my ass. Okay? I don't even ask for it. I don't even expect them to. They just do. And I know the reason. I carry myself a certain way. I know how to play the game. When I get home, I turn on my ratchet music and I'm twerking in front of my mirror for hours. Point blank, period. When I go to the club, which I don't go to the club anymore, but when I go out, I'm twerking. I have a good time. I know how to turn that shit off and go into a boardroom full of white people and get a job just like that. That's easy for me. I've never gotten turned down for a job I've ever applied for. If I wanted that job, I got that job. My entire working life, I've been working since I was 14. I learned how to play the game at 14. I was working at Arby's. I had to get a work permit from my mom. And I had this little dress suit that somebody at church gave me. And it was perfect. And I didn't have any dress shoes. I wore my mom's shoes, which was like two sizes too big because I refused to go in there with tennis shoes on with that suit. My hair didn't look like absolutely nothing, but I at least it showed that I at least tried to look nice. And a white woman interviewed me and she was like, after the interview, she said, I knew I was going to hire you the moment you walked through that door. And I was like, really? I was like, why is that, if you don't mind me asking? She said, because you just walked in here like you wanted to be here. It was an Arby's job. I was 14. This had to be like 98. I don't know. Don't quote me on that because I can't think of it right now. 14. Yeah, it was about 98. It was around 98 or something like that, give or take a year, right? And that stuck with me at the age of 14. I've been working and I've had just about every job you can imagine ever since then. I learned at 14, that white woman saying, I looked like I wanted to be there. She complimented my hair, which looked like crap, by the way. She complimented my little outfit that I got from a woman at church because we didn't have much. She saw that I put effort into wanting to come there and make sandwiches. And that took me a long way. And that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Like I said, I know a lot of us Black women already know this, but for those of you who think you can just go about life and not care about how you look and wear pajamas in public and do this and that and the third and think people are not going to judge you and then therefore give you the crap results and the crap customer service and think that's not, listen, you're gonna be in for a rude awakening. A lot of the stuff that we go through in life, and I'm not saying all of it, but a huge percentage of it is by our own making. A lot of the people's problems that they have in life are self-inflicted. This is one of those things, very simple things that Black women can do to shift the narrative, to change our image as a group. Okay? We're not gonna all be the same ever. We never have been, we never will be. But don't you want Black women as a group to be associated with, they got their stuff together, you know, they don't walk outside looking like it, they take pride in how they look, you know, whatever it is. That's how you get respect. That's how you move up in society. It has to start individually within, and then it becomes a group effort, and people will have no other choice but to see Black women in high regard. And this is just the beginning of this topic. I'm going to end it here. We're going to do way deeper deep dives into this on Patreon because there's a lot of things I want to say that I can't say over here. Okay. I want you guys to think about it. Again, this is not about kissing ass. It's not about, trying to fit in with white people. It's about playing the game so that you can be able to survive, so that you can be able to pay your bills and feed your kids if you have them. That's what this is about. So that you can get ahead, not just survive, but get ahead. Because you're playing the game. You know now how to invest your money. Now you can build your own company and you ain't got to work for the white man no more, right? That's what this is about. This is just one way and one example. There are a million other examples that we can talk about on my Patreon once it's up and running. I'm going to let you guys know. In the meantime, check out our podcast, The Audaci-Tea. It ends with TEA instead of the traditional way. And you can find us on Apple or most likely Spotify. Every Monday, we drop a new episode. We have one dropping tomorrow. We've been at this for about 7 months now, and it's been great. We've been constantly growing. People are definitely reacting very positively to our podcast. Myself, the YV Edit, aka Lisa, and Gwen, the real Quinveer on TikTok. Join us every Monday on Spotify, The Audaci-Tea. But yeah, that's all I got to say about this. I hope this video gave you some light. I hope it gave you a better perspective of the things we can do individually as Black women to help us as a collective of Black women. That was the point of this video. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. If you have not hit subscribe, please do. If you think you're subscribed, just recheck. People have been getting unsubscribed. And I used to hear other content creators say this, and I'm like, really? But it's been happening to me too now. I don't know how long it's been. I just started noticing it. People have been in my comments saying I could have sworn I was subscribed to you. I'm just telling y'all to just double check. Okay. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.
All together, girls. 1, 2, 3. Fuck these men on the internet. They don't know what they want, but they will see what they can get. Oh, go and waste your one and only precious life while pretending not to have a full receding hairline. So keep your eyes on his hairline and your hand on your drink. For all you know, he is a psychopath. He'll leave you on red and he won't care